What can you tell me about WIllow as a company? Sort of how did it start out and how's it grown?
So it started by two Nottingham Trent Uni students. It started with 3 stores in Hockley, and over the years it's really grown, like really just spread out and grown more throughout the UK.
Every single second, the equivalent of a rubbish truck full of clothes is either incinerated or buried at landfill. The UK is actually the worst offender in Europe. We discard over 1.42 million tonnes of clothing waste.
That's why charity shops like White Rose are so important. They not only resell unwanted clothes, but can support charities like the Aegis Trust.
The Aegis Trust, so it works to prevent genocide and mass atrocities, to do that through like peace building programs, influencing world leaders, worked in places like Rwanda, South Sudan, Kenya, many places. So yeah, it's a really great charity for improving peace in the world.
The UN's SDG 12 goal asks us to responsibly consume and produce. One of the most accessible ways to do that is here at a charity shop. I decided to talk to Corey, a store manager, to ask more about what White Rose does and more about sustainable clothing.
Deliveries? Where's all that coming from?
So we have our major drops that come from Manchester initially.
Yeah.
And then we have our clothing banks that are distributed all throughout the UK. So all of our donations are UK based, so it will all come straight to us in Nottingham. There will be a team in the warehouse that will sort through all the stock, so that's why we're hand-picked.
Yep.
We'll do our standards and checks, and then they will get evenly distributed to every store.
If these clothes weren't donated, most of it would end up incinerated or in landfill. However, donating and shopping at these kind of stores makes a measurable difference. UK charity shops divert an estimated 340,000 tonnes of clothing from waste every year, and initiatives like upcycling, like White Rose does, helps immensely.
Synthetic fabrics like polyester can take hundreds of years to break down, and they shed microplastics into the environment. Fast fashion is also degrading the quality of clothing, meaning oftentimes they're unsellable or undonatable.
A 10% increase in second-hand clothing sales would save around 3% of carbon and 4% of water per tonne of clothing. Every item on those rails is that number made real. The fashion industry's global emissions are projected to grow by 50% before 2030, unless something big changes.
Donating is a huge help, and companies like White Rose are making a massive difference. But to really make a change, we have to question how much we're buying in the first place. Because the most sustainable piece of clothing is something that someone's already worn. Buying second-hand, extending the life of what you own, and asking better from brands aren't radical ideas. Because the most sustainable thing you can do, the most sustainable choice you can do, is to re-love what's already worn.